Perhaps for more, we're joined via Zoom by political analyst Dr Levy Ndou to weigh in on the conference in recent killings associated with the politics there. A very good afternoon to you, Dr Levy. Thank you for joining us here on the SABC.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me.
The ANC Ekurhuleni elective conference is currently underway. It seems that chaotic scenes have erupted. Talk to us about some of the issues that have now come up. I mean, there have been issues of members being disqualified, the exclusion of delegates, and some of the verification processes that seems to be troubling them.
There is a continuous challenge in the ANC which relates to the membership system of the ANC. And of course, it might be informed by a number of factors. Some people in the ANC will be joining consistently or continuously the party. There are some who might still be allowed to join today, and so on and so on. So it creates a situation where the membership structure of the ANC is not being properly organized. Another aspect that I think is a challenge for me is that there are people within the ANC who would feel that because of the processes within the party, some branches or their branches are not being treated fairly because they do not meet certain requirements that are actually needed to go to conference. Another aspect which is quite major for me is that there is an element of the loss of trust by some ANC members and branches from those who are given the responsibilities to deal with issues relating to validation of membership, looking at membership and qualification and disqualification of branches that should attend conferences. And this is not new for me in the ANC. We've seen these kind of challenges happening in the Eastern Cape. It is happening now at Ekurhuleni. And one would think that the ANC, even though they seem to be trying, should develop much better systems that will not create a situation where some of their members will feel that they've been unfairly disqualified to participate in these conferences. Another aspect that is very important for me is that when there is a tense contestation of positions in this organization, these are the tendencies that seek to be appearing on a continuous basis. And it will also need, for me, the ANC to be able to find a way in which leaders are able to persuade each other so that they should be able to avoid these hotly contested conferences.
Well, Dr. Levy, speaking of tense contestations, we're obviously looking at the factions at play, perhaps given the constituencies, the role of youth, particularly as we look at the succession planning of the ANC, also comes to the fore. How competitive is the Ekurhuleni region on a national scale of the ANC?
Well, the ANC has been in charge of Ekurhuleni since 1994. Rather 96 when local government elections took place. And it appears as if the decline that has been observed by the ANC nationwide has also affected Ekurhuleni. And in my view, you need Ekurhuleni to be able to resuscitate the ANC in the Gauteng province, which will then resuscitate the ANC nationally and in other provinces. It appears as if other structures or components of the ANC are not at their strongest as we speak. And I think it's also influenced mainly by the fact that the ANC Women's League has actually been disbanded because the leadership has stayed for a longer period of time. The ANC Youth League has not been in existence for a very, very long time. And that, for me, becomes a challenge for the ANC to be able to identify potential youth leaders and be able to groom them to become fully fledged leaders of the ANC. And I think the inability of the ANC Youth League to be able to stand on its foot has got serious negative implications on the ANC as a whole.
Absolutely. And perhaps as we hone in on what's happening today, we've seen some delegates threatening to challenge the outcome of this conference. What does this do to the party's unity and renewal strategy ahead of the national conference?
I think what would give hope to the Ekurhuleni conference is that both the contenders for chairpersonship, Mr. Masina and the treasurer, they both talk about the renewal of the ANC. There is a perception out there that seeks to suggest that when people are contesting each other in the ANC, it is about factionalism. It might not be the case at all times. It might be informed by the fact that everybody else wants to ensure or to see the ANC being united, and he or she would feel that he might do a much better job when given this responsibility. But at the heart of this conflict and other members wanting to participate is the inability of the ANC, in my view, not to be able to persuade each other, have negotiating amongst different groupings before conference, so that when they go to conference, they focus on other important issues, which are the issues affecting ordinary people on the ground. And then they should also be able to deal with policy issues that must transform the South African society. And unfortunately, that does not appear to be the case. We've seen that in the Eastern Cape. It is now happening at Ekurhuleni, and it does not give the ANC a very, very good image, unfortunately.
Well, you speak about policy. You've also spoken about the element of the loss of trust for the ANC. But another issue that's definitely come to the fore that we cannot ignore is the recent political killings. I mean, just the recent case in the Eastern Cape. Since February, 4 ANC members having been gunned down in Nelson Mandela Bay region alone. What is the impact of such political killings on the party, perhaps as they head international conference and beyond?
It has very negative implications for the ANC. The reason being that it appears as if there is a general consensus that says that people that are being killed are not actually being killed by members or by people outside the ANC. It appears as if there is a general understanding that these killings are actually happening from within the party. And it also confirms again that when there is a high level of desperation amongst politicians, they would go to an extent of even wanting to kill others for the sake of having positions in the party. And in my view, you need the law enforcement agencies to be able to up their game so that they are able to investigate, arrest, and make sure that people that are behind these killings are actually prosecuted. You also need the ANC to be able to develop very good strategies of political education so that the ANC as a party must play a role in avoiding the killings of its members in a large scale like we're observing now.
Dr. Levy Ndou, let's leave the conversation there. Thank you very much for joining us here on the SABC via Zoom. Again, chatting about the ANC Ekurhuleni Regional Elective Conference that is taking place today. Again, Kenny Mapanga, reporter, is stationed out at the Ndaba Hotel in Fourways, where it is transpiring. We'll bring you the latest here on the SABC as the day progresses.